What's up, G-Show land, and welcome to another episode of the G-Show podcast. I am G1, and this is the G1&Z1 show, episode 5. And today's episode, if you don't see the thumbnail already, we talking aliens. And I ain't talking about the movies, I'm talking about live extraterrestrials that apparently the government has been holding on to since the 30s. I can't wait to get into this episode. Of course, I am joined by myself from another crib, Z1. What's going on, Gams?
I, for one, am ready for our Exilian overlords to come down from Planet X to take us over.
It's gonna be an all-out war between them and the aliens from the third planet from the black hole. Like, they're gonna go at it. They're gonna go, or even the Keelaks are gonna come and get them. You know what I'm saying? Like, something's happening. It's all gonna come down to who has the biggest monster. Pause. That's what it's gonna come down to. Who has the biggest space beast? So, but no, I mean, all fantasy and joking aside, is this not crazy?
This is absolutely mind-fuckingly, like, huge, if this is actually substantiated down the line, because, you know, a lot of politicians have lied under oath over the years, so, you know, as always, ladies and gentlemen, take this with maybe a small grain of salt, but at the end of the day, if this proves true, holy shit, things like the pyramids and Stonehenge and basically everything you've seen from Ancient Aliens on the History Channel could be true at this point, and I bet you all those ancient astronaut theorists are out there going, "We fucking told you."
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I've been enthralled with fucking the idea of aliens and UFOs since I was a fucking baby, since I was a child. Since the first time I saw a UFO on television, I was like, what is that? I've always loved the idea. But you know, you're young and your parents are probably like, no, don't think about it, it's fake, this, that, and the third. I gotta be honest, my family wasn't like that. Especially like my father's side of the family, they were into it, man. They were into it. They were, you know, I'm not saying they were like, whack jobs or nothing, but they never said no. Hell, they used to make us look up in the sky for Santa Claus. Oh, look, there's Santa Claus right there. You don't see him flying by. Stupid, you know, things like that. But there's always been like an acceptance of it if it was to ever happen. So for that, you know, I grew up with, you know, not worried about being, I don't know, ridiculed or mocked, you know. It was a thing. I mean, it wasn't an everyday thing, but it was a thing. And cable TV made it an even bigger thing, because now with cable TV, you get shows prior to Ancient Aliens, you know, but you would get those one-off documentaries that would come on the History Channel or the Discovery Channel or the Travel Channel. I would literally, you know, star all 3 of those channels and go through it. Who's got Bigfoot today? Who's got UFOs today? Who's got the Loch Ness Monster today? I'm all in it. And again, this was before the time where they had dedicated programming to that. They were just offshoot documentaries. You know, now you've got monster. Well, for the past 25 years, you've got monster hunters, UFO hunters, ancient aliens. The list goes on and on and on and on.
Oh yeah, like from here to the moon.
Yeah, but back in those days, it was simply just one-offs. You get a one-off documentary, might be 2 hours long, and you in the money. This is before DVR, you know? Mm-hmm. You had to grab your VHS and try to hit record. Like, you had to be all on top of these things. So, hearing people back then, and don't even get me started with, like, Roswell, okay?
Oh, the Roswell incident, or
Betty and Barney Hill.
The more modern things, the storming of Area 51, if you remember that whole escapade.
The storming, quote unquote, of Area 51, that got nowhere. That went nowhere fast.
That went nowhere and just turned into like an annual party.
It's a party,
that everybody goes to.
if I'm not mistaken, I think I was living here in Vegas when they did that. And I was like, I would do it, but I also ain't stupid. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go storm Area 51 and get shot. No, thank you. I'll see what happens on the telly. But, you go back, you think about things like the Betty and Barney Hill case, Roswell incident. Those were the two most prominent ones in U.S. that were always talked about, at least in these documentaries and stuff. And then you get shows like, honestly, The X-Files that really tapped into the government conspiracy of, the UFO phenomena. It was just amazing. And every now and then on the newscast, what's in the sky? What's in the sky? Not all the time. There's more of that now than it was back when I was younger. But, man, if you got lucky, whoo-wee. And I loved it, man. I loved it. Going to the library, looking at books on UFOs and looking at old pictures. And yeah, that could absolutely be a hubcap from a tire. Could be. Absolutely. But at the same time,
I want to believe.
It's very well done. It's very well done. I can't believe that as a child, all I've ever wanted was some form of acknowledgement, some recognition. So it's real, like a justification. And here it is, the beginnings of it, at least. Because...
Yeah, what was the guy's name, this new whistleblower?
I'm looking that up right now. I think it's David something. So let me get to it.
I think it starts with a G?
Or Ryan Graves.
Yeah, Ryan Graves. This guy just comes out here like a Chad, under oath, just confirming everything. Like, at the same time, still keeping shit classified that needs to be kept classified.
Yep.
But at the most part, he just flat out said that the government has bodies.
So it was Ryan Graves and David Fravor, a retired U.S. Navy commander. So, David Grush. That was the one that was on Capitol Hill yesterday too. David Grush. That's the one. Former Air Force intelligence officer alleged that the government has covered up its research into the unidentified sightings and said he reported information to the intelligence community inspector general. Quote, and this is from a CNN article. Quote, the technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had, Fravor said of the episode he witnessed in 2004 when asked why UAPs are a national security threat. All right, real quick, I want to get into that. I got to touch upon that because I got to be honest. That bothers me. Why are we calling them UAPs now? Why are they unidentified aerial phenomena? To me, everybody knows what a UFO is. That you say UFO, you think flying saucer. It's automatic, right? But when you say UAPs, people ain't trying to, the correlation ain't there, especially when you, unidentified flying objects is simple. Unidentified aerial phenomena is grandiose. It's actually, in my opinion, it's too much. It's like, we're going to overkill them. And they're going to be like, yeah, nah, fuck that. Fuck that. Because honestly, and it's not the common folk are just, simple folk are simple folk. Simple folk are simple folk. I'm a simple folk. Get out of here with that UAP shit. It's a UFO. Call it what it is.
I think what their perspective is on that is that the term UFO has been so stigmatized and flanderized by the pop culture industry that it can't even be taken seriously anymore, and that's why they came up with this new acronym to legitimize it more.
I see where you're coming from. I respectfully disagree. I think it's a swerve. It's what they've constantly done. It's let's give them a little bit. Project Blue Book back in the day. Let's give them a little bit and call it something different. Let's just confuse them. That's what it kind of feels like. A constant ball of confusion. And here we are.
I mean, some people claim that this whole hearing was meant to pull the wool over the public's eyes over like the real problems going on, like, you know, unemployment and COVID and shit.
Oh, absolutely, and you could definitely make a case for that, which is crazy. But think about it. We know, all right. Like, again, we've been inundated with UFOs, lore and pictures and whatever stories for our entire lives, right?
Oh yeah, since like the 1940s.
Right. So as long as we've been alive, we know, all right, yeah, okay, we've heard the stories, we've seen the pictures, we believe what we want, right? But only just recently has it started to actually make major waves, if you will, with the Tic Tac video.
Because a lot of documents are becoming declassified.
Yeah. So when you have all that, like the TikTok, the little videos, right? I've seen plenty of UFO videos, right? In my life.
Yeah.
I love the idea that I could go on YouTube and look at UFO videos. I love the idea that Amazon Prime has UFO documentaries that you can look at. I love all that stuff. But now it's beginning to get in the public eye. It's popping up in Congress now. And now we have people sitting down, testifying, talking about this is real. Now, I've watched some people over the past couple of days kind of not be detractors, but say they need more evidence than just the word of someone who hasn't even witnessed it, but knows people. He's retelling someone who told them something, right?
Yeah. I mean, I can see where they're coming from and wanting that substantiated evidence.
Mm-hmm. And that's fine. I get that. My counter to that is, again, there's a plethora of evidence out there that people just don't take seriously, going back to what you said about the UFOs, because there's a stigma over the term UFOs and just anything that's has to do with that. I personally believe they've always been there. And again, there's video evidence that you see that you're just like, yeah, okay, that's really good. Even some good CG. I mean, there are times where you'd be like, man, that's some good CG. That's a good one. But then there are other times where you're just like, wait, what? Some of like the space footage, for instance, like early, I would say 80s, maybe 90s. One of the best things I've ever seen was that quote unquote Star Wars footage where you see something coming towards Earth's atmosphere. There's a flash of light below, in Earth's atmosphere. The thing darts to the other side as something comes flying up from the Earth. I said that right there. That was before like Independence Day and all that fun stuff. And I'm sitting there like, is that not evidence enough? Like, what did we just see? What did we just see?
And then there's like even recent examples. I'm pretty sure there was a recent sighting in Vegas or around the Vegas area.
Yes, there was. And that one actually is crazy because that one was, I think, during the same week that the Whistleblower initially came out. What was that, in early June or something? Late May, early June, whenever it was?
Yeah. I saw one of my favorite YouTubers, Mudahar, talk about that sighting.
Mm-hmm. So that happened up north, where everything actually happens up north, apparently. Listen, you got to take it at face value. The cops were called. Something was caught on dash cam video, falling from the sky. That was on a police during an actual police stop. Like there was the police were at a house for some kind of domestic violence dispute, and you see something falling from the sky.
Yeah, on the dash cam footage. It's like a completely unrelated thing, and you see this phenomenon happen.
Yep. So apparently it crashed in somebody's backyard, and apparently it was aliens. The kids, the people calling it, they seem calm. And that's another thing, because I get a lot of that too. Oh, well, wouldn't they be all going crazy and stuff? in today's day and age, especially with these teenagers, I don't think nothing really is gonna faze them.
No, these kids have been raised on iPads and tablets and good laptops and computers with regular internet access. These kids are so desensitized, they could look at an honest-to-God alien right in the face and not even blink.
Exactly. They might think it's their new favorite rapper or something. So, you never know. You never know. The movie Nope that came out last year had a great line. We got to get the Oprah shot. The Oprah shot. And I love that. Right? And that's what it is. So I don't think, they're so desensitized. Yeah, dude, I'm looking at it. It's in my yard. It's huge. It's got a big eye. Like, this thing's 8 feet tall. Could you please send a cop out here? Like, I could see it like that. Now, there's a parent video. There's cell phone videos. I watched it. I watched a whole bunch. I watched a bunch of people try to say, oh, here's the alien here. Here's the alien here. It's hard to see. I mean, it's silhouettes, but you would think they'd be moving more.
Yeah.
Listen, if it was me, in all honesty, I would have walked right up to it. I'd have been like, hey, how you doing? Need any help? Could you take me with you? Like,
yeah, where the heck were you when all this happened?
Oh, man, I was sleeping. Look, since I've lived in Vegas, I've gotten a couple of things, right? Literally. The first time I ever came out here for my wife's 27th birthday, I believe, and we're staying in a hotel, the Luxor Hotel, and we're facing the mountains, and it was like a Sunday morning. And I woke up, and it's like 6:30 a.m., and I'm just looking at the mountains, and I want to see something. I'm in Vegas. It's got to be a hotspot. Area 51's here. I'm a kid from Brooklyn. This is what we think about, right? This is how we think. And my camera's right there on the little table, and I just see this silver dot moving. I mean, boogieing across the mountains. And I'm like, no fucking way. Grabbed the camera real quick, turned it on, hit record, and I filmed this thing. And this thing is boogieing. And I'm saying to myself, could this be a jet, a jet, a fighter jet?
Yeah.
It could be. Now that I live here, I know that, Nellis Air Force Base is up the block. I know, but at the same time, I'm looking at it and I'm like, that shit don't look like a jet though. Like, the sun is glistening off of it, and this thing is moving. There's no contrails. It's just zooming. And I'm like, holy crap. And all you hear me, I got it. I got a UFO on tape. I swear to God, that's what I'm saying, because I can't wait to bring this shit home and show all my friends, like, look what I got. And this was, again, before you can use your phone for video. I mean, you probably could, but you weren't going to get that shot. So I saw that, and then I wake my wife up, and I go, look what I got. Look. And she's not into the alien thing, I gotta be honest. Full disclosure, my wife is scared to death about the possibility of there being aliens. Like, she don't like to watch alien movies with me or none of that shit. And I'd be like, come on, man. Let's watch Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It's a great movie. What's wrong with you? Let's watch Communion. Yeah, let's watch Communion. You would love it. Christopher Walken's in it. You'll love it. That movie scared the shit out of me. I haven't watched it since, but again, that was then. Another one, while I lived here, it was a Sunday. It was a Sunday afternoon. We're sitting by the poolside in the apartment complex, and it wasn't just me. It was a bunch of people there. Everybody lived in the apartment complex. Not everybody, but people who lived in the apartment complex that was there. And we're all looking up. And it's sunny, and it's bright, and it's blue, and there are little white dots high in the sky, zipping around. And I'm like, y'all all see that, right? I'm not going crazy, right? We can see that, right? And everybody can see it. These white dots just zipping around in the sky in no random way. They're just like playing off of each other. And like, could they be bugs? They're too high. I'm telling you, they are in the atmosphere high. They're up there.
Yeah. So they would, if they were bugs being that high in the sky, they must be like the size of Mothra. So
exactly. So I mean, that right there, I don't think there would have been a way to get that on film. And again, that's something that people can totally say, I don't believe you. You ain't got no evidence. You're 100% correct. I don't. All I have is my word and the word of everybody else that was there. You know what I mean? Another one of my all-time favorite ones, and I actually posted it here on the G Show page. Right before I bought the house, we lived in another apartment that had my favorite view since I've lived out here. And that view's gone, by the way. Now, every time I pass that place, they build 3-story apartment buildings right in front of my window. So it obscures the entire... I had the entire strip and all the mountains. And it was great. One night, I'm looking out the window at lightning. The way my seat was situated, my couch, I can look directly out the window. And I used to do that. My TV would be in the corner. The window was right there. And I used to do it. I loved it. Day, night, did not matter. And one night, during a lightning storm of all times, and then the lightning stops, these dots started to appear. These orange lights just flickered on. And I'm like, oh, shit. And they're not moving. And I'm like, oh, shit. And they're just there. Right over the Rio. Like in that vicinity of the Rio, right? The hotel and casino. And then they would flicker off. And then they pop up miles away. But again, I'm in my window. But miles away from the Rio by the South Point, which is where I go to the movies. And I'm like, yo, shut the fuck up. And then they will flicker and go away. And then pop back up by the Rio. And I go, no. And now I'm filming this. Now I've got my camera, got my cell phone, got my daughter screaming, no, that's not true. My wife doesn't want to see it because she don't want to believe it. But it's all there. And it's happening. And then it's 3. Then it's 4. And then they flicker out one by one. And then they pop up over here. And this happened for about an hour, maybe 2. And then I was like, I got to go to work. I just started a brand new job. It was August, maybe September. I don't remember, but or maybe even October, maybe even early October. But it was the first year of of me working where I'm working now. I was brand new, and I was like, I can't take off. I could not believe what I was seeing, and I filmed it, and yeah, it's on the page. It's on the G Show page. You got to scroll down a bit, but you'll see it. I got 3 videos up. Mysterious lights over Vegas, and it fucked me up. Not one news station reported on it. Why not? Why not?
Yeah, why not?
It was absolutely insane. So those things stick in my head. And when I did buy the house, me and my father were upstairs on my backyard patio up top, and we were talking. And he was just like, I'm proud of you. You got a house, this, that, and the third. And we're just sitting there and we're looking. It's night. I have a couple bit like. Definitely wasn't a UFO, but it was cool. It was an aerial phenomena, if you will. But we saw something streaking out of the sky and do like a curve, and then like literally it curved and then just kind of burnt out. So it was like, oh, it had to be a meteor or something, or like, space junk or something fell from a plane or something. But it was just, we both looked at each other like, shut up. And then we went back inside. But things like that, man, it just interests the shit out of me.
Now, I may not have had any like actual encounters like you, but I've seen all of the online footage. I've seen all of the footage throughout the nearly 80 years of UFO enthusiasm in America. And some of it's obviously fake, but some of it is pretty convincing.
You can't explain it.
You can't explain it. And I'm just curious as to what they look like, because, if they have bodies, my imagination's just going wild. And then I'm wondering if there are more of these things, if they've seen our depictions of aliens, and if they think it's racist.
They come down, they come down to one of our houses, and we got Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 74 on. They're like, what the hell is that? That's not us. Or even Gigan, we're not cockroaches. What is this?
What is this?
No, it's funny because that's a great point. You think about in Hollywood what we're accustomed to seeing as far as aliens are concerned, right? There's a plethora of aliens. But the main ones always tend to look like the grays, right?
Yeah, the grays or the greens.
Or the greens, right? And I would think that that's exactly what they look like. Big heads, big eyes, possibly no nose and a slit for a mouth. Communicate telepathically. Who knows? But I mean, like, Steven Spielberg has 3 alien movies. You can't count one because it's a remake. But, even though I love that movie, right? That's War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
But Close Encounters of the Third Kind and E.T., you look at both of the aliens and they look completely different. Completely. But Close Encounters, I think, is the closest thing to what I depict an alien to be. And that's especially the one when you've seen this movie, right? We're not.
Yeah.
Okay. The end. So the mothership does its thing. Got the great sound battle going on. The DJs are scratching it up. I love it. Then the mothership lands. The doors open, and you see that first alien come out, and it kind of looks like a stick bug. Like it's long-limbed. It's thin. It's
lanky looking.
Yeah, and it's eerie as fuck. Eerie as fuck. And it comes out kind of crouching. And then it just stands up to its full height, spreads its arms out, does that little head tilt in the immaculate prosthetics and practical effect work of the times. And it's a glorious sight to behold. Then a bunch of little kids with alien heads come out, because that's what they were, little children, in costume. And that's fine too. But that first alien being, because it's scary yet they make you feel comfortable all at the same time. It's like Spielberg is a fucking alien. He knows. He's like, I got this, don't worry. He's using the Force. Don't worry. And then obviously E.T., a completely different look, but something that stays with the human psyche. For everybody who's seen knows E.T., there's a distinct look. Oh, that's E.T. It's crazy. It's crazy. The scary things too is that they don't talk. E.T. talks a bit. But they're not Yoda.
It's kind of weird, like just kind of really thinking about it, that most of the UFO activity and reports and even this recent confirmation and everything is centered around America.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's here that they want so badly that they keep on sending their drunk pilots who keep on crashing, those dumb assholes?
So that right there was something one of the detractors said, and I was like, shit, I never really thought about that, right? A guy said, how could you be so advanced that you're traveling from the far reaches of the universe, and as soon as you get here, you crash? And I'm like, fuck, don't make that argument. Shut up. You know what I mean? Like, now I get defensive. Yeah. Now I'm defensive. Now I'm all mad. I'm like, yo, shut up. Like, who's your favorite character? He's fake! Shut up! Like, I get mad. But it makes sense. So the only thing I could think of is, why did Reagan put Star Wars up there? Why did Trump want to do what was it, SpaceX? Not SpaceX. What was it?
SpaceX is Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, yeah, not SpaceX. Elon Musk and his ex.
The
Space Force.
The Space Force,
Space Force, yeah. Like, why? Why? Listen. They knew something. Think about it. Every other president were very hush and mum. Clinton might have mentioned something. Yeah, Obama said something. But they were really tight-lipped.
My counter-argument to all those detractors is simply what things like Ancient Aliens have been saying. Things like Stonehenge, and how no human being had the technological capacity to make those stones in that shape. Or the pyramids. They didn't have pulley systems efficient enough for slaves to build those giant pyramids.
Yeah, that's true. It's pretty much impossible to get those giant slabs of stone as high as whatever the tallest pyramid is.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. You think about the Nazca lines in Peru. Who's going to see that? Who's going to see a hummingbird? A giant hummingbird at that. Who's going to see that? It's insane when you think about things like this. Insane. There's one I think it's in the Bering Sea, the Millennium Falcon UFO, quote unquote UFO. I think it was a group of French oceanographers that found something, and it looks like the Millennium Falcon under the water. And all I kept thinking about was like, that's not the Millennium Falcon, bro. That's Orga. I was like, I know that ship. I know that shape. That's Orga, man.
The Millennium UFO.
Yeah, it is a Millennium, right? But it's not the Falcon. It's Orga. But no, I digress. But it was real. Like, whether or not it's just a chunk of rock, its shape is what in our heads a UFO looks like. It's a saucer. It's a craft. How to get there? Crash lands. Whatever it is. And I like that, man. I do. I fucking love it. I love it. And here we are on the cusp of information being flooded out. And this is not the first time that this has happened, though, and we got to take that into account.
Oh, yeah. He is not the first whistleblower, and this guy's probably not even going to be the last whistleblower.
Right. But we got to go way back before we were born. They did this already. They did Project Blue Book. They went. Now, this could be, people claim, oh, this was the government saying, yeah, this is what we're going to investigate all of these things. And some of them, they can't find any evidence as to what it really is. But those things are like, we'll do that so few and far between. Everything else will be swamp gas or some shit, right? Hubcaps. It'll be, we'll make a reason. We'll give an example.
Weather balloons.
Right. We will debunk you. But we're going to do it because you are interested and we're the government and we work for you, so here we go. And they do it so nonchalantly, and it's just like, and everybody's like, all right, cool, they did something, all right, and go about their daily lives, right? But that was then. That's a different time completely. That's when life was simple. I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't that simple, it was hardships. But it's not like today where information is at the fucking, at your fingertips.
Exactly. And thinking about that, has there been any word from the FBI or the CIA or anything like that, basically them hand-waving this guy's claims in court away, saying it's all fake news yet, or?
Haven't heard a thing. And remember, this is under oath.
Haven't heard a peep from him, huh?
Haven't heard a thing. And it's under oath. And the guy straight up says, listen. So, and while going through, because I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched a lot of, like, the bullet points. And I've watched it from people who are very skeptical and people who were and now are on board even before this happened, because this evidence was coming out that they were like, hold on, wait a minute. Like, yeah, what is it? And they go down a rabbit hole. We're already hanging out in that rabbit hole, right? Like, we're sipping tea with Alice. We're hanging out.
Oh.
So I'm watching it and yes, the FBI. The guy was straight saying, like, there are certain things I cannot tell you here. There's something called a skiff, apparently, right? And again, I've learned all of this, like, this week. So there's something called, like, a skiff, and apparently that's, like, the only place you can tell certain top secret information. They're designated spots. I've never heard of that before. That boggled my mind. It baffles me. But I'm like, yeah, if that's what's gotta happen, like if you gotta let these top secret shit out, maybe there has to be a certain place. It can't just be in an interrogation room, right? It just can't be.
Yeah.
So who knows? But I know, like, he was saying, like, for certain questions, he said, I cannot answer that outside of a skiff, outside of, the only place
outside of where we're recorded and the public can see.
Right. Now, the problem with that, and I heard, like, this is crazy. I don't know how true this is. I'm over here, tripping over my words because it's such an amazing event. I don't know how true this is, but apparently there have been certain government officials, like legislators, Senate people, basic congressmen.
Senators, yeah.
Congressmen, who've asked to get the ball rolling on this and has been denied. And that is where it gets interesting. Because if you got nothing to hide, why deny?
Yeah, why denying stuff?
Yeah. So that's another thing that I'm always like, all right, yeah, they come in here and they become drunk drivers, but why are they denying this stuff? What's the point? What's the reason? Is it really a deflection? A show put on by the government to get our eyes away from the Hollywood strike, or anybody striking for more money? The crazy going-ons in Washington? Like, why? This is not just for now in the now times. This has always been happening.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense. Like, you can't blame any which party in the past 10, 15 years, because this has been going on forever. What did he say? He said something about they've known about these things since before Roswell.
Yeah, the 1930s is what he said. Like, after World War I, Great Depression type shit.
So I got a book when I used to work at a book publishing company back in New York. I got a book, and it was about UFOs and the military and the Foo Fighters, right? That were buzzing planes in World War II. And they didn't know what the hell was going on. They were like, what is this? And it was on both sides. It was on both sides. Like, both factions, warring factions, were getting buzzed by these glowing objects.
Yeah, and it would make sense that an alien race would be fascinated by an entire planet's population being at war with each other.
Since they probably already combined their resources and said, let's become a spacefaring, people, and figure out ways to, maximize our lifespans and livelihoods.
Yeah, if they're spacefaring, their society is already like 2 steps ahead of ours.
Which could bring up why there's so much cover-ups. Power corrupts. If they got all the power, they can keep the people down. If all of a sudden some kind of, advanced extraterrestrial race pops up and says, hey, yo, y'all doing this all wrong. We've made it. And it's real easy to do. Then there's no more power. Then there's no more power. The problem with that is, could you get everybody on the same fucking wavelength? Could we all get on the same page without being mind controlled by the aliens, where people gotta wear the aluminum foil hats? Because, oh my God, there have been conversations the last 2 days at my job, and aluminum hats came into the question more than a couple times, and I'm just sitting around like, are you serious? Like, what?
It's time to break out the tinfoil.
It's insane. I'm just like, come on, man. Like, come on. We should have fun with this. Now, look. It could be like Independence Day. These motherfuckers come out and start blowing up national monuments, and then next thing you know, they're blowing up cities. I get it. Oh, I get it. What do we do then? But at the same time, if that was the case, wouldn't it have been happened already? Especially with all the evidence.
If they actually wanted to destroy us, they probably have done it already.
Absolutely. So I'm looking at this stuff, and a couple of, like I said, watching more bullet points than anything. And one of the things that a lot of these the people I was watching was saying, and I thought it was fascinating, was he never called them aliens or extraterrestrials.
Yeah, there was non-human biologics.
Non-human biologics. Okay, he also mentioned time travel. Right? That was a piece in there. The advanced technology that can open up space-time. Here's my thing. What if they're not really aliens, right? What if they are us, but not us? What if they are our pets? What if they are like extremely intelligent dogs and cats? They're non-human biologics. No, I'm just saying. Like, what if? That's just me being funny. But I thought about that. I was like, he's not saying alien nor extraterrestrial. Why? What can of worms does that open that is not already open?
I mean, being purposely vague because it's like a blanket term that could apply to anything from a chimpanzee to a little tiny microbacteria, even.
Absolutely. And again, I kept thinking about all of that. I'm like, what? Like, is it a chimp? Like, is it Science Dog? Science Dog's from one of my favorite comic books, Invincible. Is it just like, is it Cosmo from Guardians of the Galaxy? What is it? Howard the Duck? What is it?
Yeah.
So but that one caught me. Like, I gave that one some serious thought. I'm like, wait a minute. At the same time, I never not believing it's, not aliens. They're fucking aliens. There's no doubt in my brain. Roswell is key, right? Because they went to such lengths to cover that up that they fumbled 5 times before they settled on one particular thing. Think about that. Think about it. They did. At the very beginning, it's a UFO crash. That's what hit the national airwaves.
Yeah, it was a UFO crash.
We got a down flying saucer.
And then they were claiming weather balloons, and then they were claiming this, that, and the other. And then the SR-71 Blackbird got declassified, and everybody was like, oh, so that's what it was. But now we're back to UFO because we just got this confirmation.
Yeah, exactly. So it's things like that cracked me up. Like, you got something. Here's another thing, and I'm taking nothing away from human ingenuity, right? But as we go back to the pyramids, how was that formed? We go back to Stonehenge. How did they get those blocks to get up on those pillars like that? Did they use ladders? What did they use? Doesn't make sense. Some other things in even the pyramids. Or what was it? The pyramids? But let's use the crystal skulls as examples. I mean,
crystal skulls, yeah.
I love the ideas of that, right? I love the ideas of the crystal skull. Some of these things have been so finely, how would you construct it, that what some people are saying, it's impossible to chisel that out with a hammer and a little chisel. Like the fine curvatures.
Yeah, like it's almost as if it was constructed by a modern gemstone cutting laser technology all the way back in like the Mesopotamian times. And how in the hell?
Absolutely. So, I mean, come on. Again, if science cannot explain it, then you have to go with the unexplainable. And right now, it's fucking aliens. It's UFO, right? Because it's there. We know that's actual evidence. So people say human ingenuity. Okay. Which brings me to technology and how fast that went in such a short amount of time. Humans been around for how long?
Yeah, like literally you can... Not even 20 years ago, you and I would not even be able to have this conversation face to face like this.
Absolutely. We would have a tape recorder and on a phone talking into it like this. That's how we would have to do it. And then figure out how to get that tape somewhere where we can publish it.
Yeah.
Now we're just doing this right here online, like nothing. Like it's nothing. I see you, you see me. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And that's. I mean, now that this lid has been blown wide open, it can be plausible that our technological boom could be attributed to studying extraterrestrial technology.
I mean, if we've had it in our possession since the 30s, predating Roswell, and we go from 1930 to 2023, which is almost 100 years, 90 years. In 90 years, what humanity has achieved, as opposed to the 900 years of our existence, you know what I'm saying? I don't even think it's 900 years. Am I right?
No, it's more like 10,000.
Oh shit! Well, we've been around for a very long time, but do you see the boom? In 90 years, we've achieved this much. We had to have help. There had to be something.
Something like this makes me wonder what the hell does what's his name Bill Gates, what the hell does Bill Gates know? What the hell does Mark Zuckerberg know? What the hell does Elon Musk know?
And think about it, Zuckerberg, what he do? What's his claim to fame? He stole somebody's fucking idea and made Facebook. Now this dude's a tech giant. Billions of dollars. Everybody's on his platform. Hell, we're using his messenger right now. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
People literally claim that he's a lizard man.
Let's touch upon that real quick. I don't know if you've seen those videos online. I don't like to do this, but every now and then, and it's pretty much every fucking weekend, I'll wake up way too early because my body doesn't know how to shut off on the weekends and just sleep a little bit extra. So I'm up at, regular week scheduled work time. So I just lay in the bed and I start going through the reels and, whatever the Instagram thing is. Have you seen the lady that was on the airplane that had a freak out?
Yes, I have seen that video. She was right.
Let me tell you something. That lady, that does not seem staged, does not seem acted. That lady had a meltdown and straight up was like, that motherfucker ain't real. And I felt her. I felt it. I was like, what the fuck? Now, she didn't look drunk. She didn't look high. Could have there been drugs in the system? Possibly. But she didn't seem inebriated to me, right? She seemed distressed. Something set her off. Here's a person trying to go home and all of a sudden is like, ain't happening. I don't give a fuck. Get me off this plane. He ain't real. That I was like, what the fuck? Again, that shit looked genuine to me. That shit look genuine to me. And if it's fake, man, give that woman an academy.
Everybody called that woman crazy when that video released. Everybody called her loony, nuts.
And then this week I seen another one in China. Did you see this one?
I did not.
Okay. There is this Chinese man on a plane screaming, crying for his mother that there is a demon on the plane. He needs to get off now. And again, the lady never said what she see. All she said, he's not real. You get on the, you look in the comics, because now you're in a rabbit hole, right? Now you're really like, you're diving down. You got your spelunking gear on and you're just going. You're just going.
Yeah.
And you're reading the comics, it was a reptilian or I don't care what it was. She was fucking scared. Period. And then I see this Chinese one and I'm like, this ain't a trend. This ain't a TikTok thing, right? Like it can't be. Because I don't know what he's saying. I'm seeing the subtitles, but he doesn't sound like he's acting. He's crying. You can hear him pray, like you hear it like a chant, like a prayer almost. Like you.
Yeah.
In every culture, praying almost kind of sounds the same, if you will, right? It's like a chant almost. But he was fucked up too. And he said he's seen the demon. The demon is on this plane. I got to get off that. And I'm just like, this is why I don't like flying. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
If this is happening now, while all of this stuff is coming out, if this is the case, if they are walking amongst us, which I think is also one of the things that was said during these hearings, like, oh yeah, no, they're there. They're pretty much out. They're pretty much out in the open. They're around. Is it now okay for them to be, I don't want to even say it like this, but come out the fucking closet, if you will?
Yeah.
This is, here we are. You know what I'm saying? Look, the social climate that we are in right now, we know there's no, mincing words here. It's a boiling pot. And that's to deal with humanity. Man versus man, right? It's terrible. But could you imagine if literally the lid is blown off because of legit aliens and UFOs and flying saucers and what do we do now? What do we do now? Do we still spit venom at one another, or do we say, "Oh shit, there's something bigger now. Let's try to focus, regroup, say what the fuck is up"? Because
now we got to figure, where do we sit in the galactic scale rather than the global scale?
And is that going to cause a total annihilation of the human race because greed is going to get the better of certain people from humanity, and they're going to be like, yo, we probably have better ideas to make this intergalactic council work. We can't do that. We cannot do that.
I just hope that the aliens think that democracy is the best solution as well.
I don't. Well, I mean, I would hope that if there's like an intergalactic council of beings, and everybody has their fair share at the table, and fuck, George Lucas made that known like that, right?
Yeah, the Galactic Republic before the Empire.
Before the Empire, so it's a hope. It's a hope. Are we going to be scared at what we see? I know for a fact a lot of people will look. Again, what does the religious sect of humanity do? Do they denounce it automatically, like, no, this can't be, or do they accept it as a religious person, like, this is God's creation, this is God's will? Do they go with it?
And do we even like rethink the whole "we're made in God's image" type thing? Because if the aliens look nothing like us but are more advanced than us, are they made in God's image? Are they God? Yeah.
And that's the crazy part. That's the part. And that's not to take away anybody's faith, You have your faith, you believe in that shit as hard as you need to believe in it, right? It can make you a decent human being. But my whole thing is like, yo, if it's really out there, I'm just going to accept it for what it is. Like, literally. Like, look, if I die and there is a heaven and hell, well then, there it is. Right? Like, I got to accept the fate. But we're sitting at such an important moment in history, and that's probably been said too way back when Roswell happened, when Project Blue Book happened, but they just, like you said, the technology wasn't there to literally do it. You might get page 5 in the newspaper in a small article. You don't even register a blip on the news channels like television and stuff. But nowadays, completely different beast. Completely different.
As soon as this whole thing dropped, every single news outlet from CNN, Fox News, all of them just posted articles like that for everybody to access at the tip of their fingertips.
And you're right, it could be a deflection by them doing that because they really it doesn't happen that way. Yeah. Like people nowadays like alternate media, like YouTube is a hotspot to get news from non corporate entities, if you will.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're with it, sometimes you're not. Most of the stuff I was watching today, I mean, like, again, it was from like non-corporate entities. And one of the people I watched, and he was like, yeah, and I wasn't a believer. Like, okay, it's fun, it's fascinating, but nah, like, I'm gonna stick to what I know best. The political arena, like, this is like political science is my thing. And then all of this starts happening, and all of a sudden he pays attention, and he straight out flat says it. He was like, now I need to know more. And I don't blame him. Another convert to the church of UFOology. That's not Scientology, right? I hope not.
No, it's not Scientology, I don't think.
But yeah, I don't know. Well, like, literally, like, what are your honest thoughts? Like, where are you with all of this happening?
Quite honestly, I'm both utterly fascinated and completely terrified as to what's going to happen in the next few months. Because what if because the lid's blown off, they just decide, fuck it, here's some pictures of the bodies. There they are. Look at them. The thought of it just, it's hard to process.
It is.
It's very hard to process.
I think because of not even the way we were brought up, but just what we were brought up around, right? What was natural, normal, and nowadays normal doesn't even apply because normal could mean anything nowadays, right? Like we are at that point.
Yeah.
But I'm going back. You got to go back in the days, at least to when we were born, right? Like we know what the generations before us knew, but from where we were born. So I'll start like from the 70s, and what's natural, what's normal. You know, you go to church on Sundays. You do this. There was nothing about the government in my. You don't think about that shit as a kid. All I know is I got to go to church on Sundays because mom's making me, right? Things like that. You learn about God and stuff like that. You find these things. Unless you have a parent that's all like, yo, look, unless your parents is Fox Mulder and Dana Scully, right? You find these things. You're not preached about these things. You find these things. So growing up, we are pretty much all slaves to our society. Not to any like government or not like that, but to what is a normal day-to-day life, right?
Yeah, what's socially acceptable as the norm.
And every decade that changes. Every decade, because we look at where we're at today, and it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's completely different to how the day-to-day life was in the 90s or the early 2000s.
Absolutely. Where you got, people trying to cite a civil war. It's like, do we really need a civil war? No. Just live and let live. That was one of the biggest things. Just live and let live. Now that there's potential aliens thrown in the mix, where do we go? Honestly, where do we go? So I understand why you're so frightened. Because while I'm not frightened, at the same time, who knows, right? Like, malicious intent, this conspiracy has been going on for generations. Not just since the 30s. That's impossible in my eyes because, again, the pyramids, the Nazca lines, there are things that just can't be explained. And all we're going to say is human ingenuity. Fine, I respect that. Atlantis, all right? Like, what? There's an old...
The Bermuda Triangle.
Bermuda Triangle. That's another great point. There's an old Indian scripture. Oh my God, I forget the name of it, but I used to watch things about this where they talk about the war in the sky, and that there were fucking things zipping around shooting fire at each other, from like way back when. And I sit there and I go, what is that? I have to look that up because it was like, it fascinated the shit out of me. Hang on. Ancient.
Yeah, you good?
Let's see. Ancient aliens Indian. Here we go. Let's see. Nope. No, that's not it. So yeah, I can't find it. But there was a word they called. There was a name that they called it. And I loved it. I was like, oh my God, that's fucking crazy, Oh, everything just pops up. Ancient aliens. All right, never mind. We're gonna get nowhere with that. But I loved it. Like the idea, like this was coming from a different culture, and that's another thing. We're so focused on what's going on here in America. You mentioned this before, but other cultures, countries, like they've dealt with their own versions of this. There's a famous UFO thing that happened in England near a military base where there was a pod that was that made landfall, 3 protruding legs, just sitting there. And there was markings on it, and the guys, the military man said that he touched it, and all of a sudden he had flashes, and all he can do was just draw the damn thing. And it's crazy. It's like, yeah, I totally buy that. Why would he lie about it? Things were buzzing the base. That has been confirmed. So why can't we take this guy's testimony as fact?
Yeah, and I'm sure there's probably been like sightings in places like Japan and India and things like that I just haven't done the research on.
Well, you know, it's funny. Some of my favorite things is like when you look at the old paintings, and you know, you would have some weird craft in the sky, and it doesn't look like a heavenly thing. It looks like a technological thing. Leonardo da Vinci was coming up with shit like the tanks and things. Like, what? It's crazy. Hell, Spider-Man across the Spider-Verse. In the beginning, the Vulture, you know, like a Da Vinci version of the Vulture. It was great. It's just impossible to say. Like, human ingenuity is one thing, but honestly, it's got to come from something. It's got to come from something. So whether it's time travelers, and the time travelers are our pets' descendants in the future who has mastered the art of vocabulary and language, and of course time travel, which would be funny if cats and dogs before humans master time travel.
That would be hilarious.
That's a skit all its own. I'll tell you,
especially the cats that have thumbs.
I'll tell you one thing too. You know, there was a boom. Was it the 90s or early 2000s? The Hadron Collider. That, make no mistake about it, opened something. Had to. And that's just it. You hear all these things about either it's, you know, people from the future or actual aliens or interdimensional beings.
Yeah, like you have people claiming they can see like the people that are recognized like these days in photos from like the 1930s.
Which is crazy. Now here's a scary, scary thought. With the advent of AI right now, how much, I'll put it like this. I follow a couple of like cryptid sites and UFO, you know, pages and stuff like that, just for the shits and giggles, right? Because every now and then something pops up and you're like, oh man, that's fucking cool. Like, wow, what is that? But for the most part, especially now on the cryptid sites, it's driving me crazy. It's a lot of AI stuff, right? Mm-hmm. It's a ton of AI stuff. So it's like, and it drives me crazy because they'll try to like, look at this. This is unbelievable new footage. And I'm like, unbelievable new footage. It's filmed in a sepia tone with a fucking, you know, old filter on it of UFOs flying around mountains having battles with epic music behind it. What? It's shit like that drives me crazy. And it's all AI stuff. It's all AI. It drives me crazy. I'm like, oh, please. And don't get me wrong. I like the passion and the art of it, right? Like, somebody went out of their way to try to make it look... But there were no cameras back then, people. Come on. Come on. Unless, of course, there's a time-traveling UFO person with a fucking iPhone 15 or some shit. It's the only way, right? It's the only way. But yeah, I don't know. This hearing, this whole thing, it's
been confirmed that there's going to be follow-up hearings, right?
So I heard, yeah. So that's my belief. That's my belief. I hope. So here's another thing. This I don't wish this shit in our lifetimes. We haven't seen anything like this. So I hope it doesn't happen. Well, at least not on American soil. But this could be, dangerous, to the individuals, whoever's gonna talk, the whistleblowers. But at the same time, is there a risk to shut a whistleblower up permanently, right? And then say, well, why would they do that? Where were we going? Was he telling the truth? Or do they just let him spew as much as he wants and continue to cover it up and just call him a quack job?
I mean, I feel like that the second one would be more likely than just silencing him, because if the dude just up and disappeared, that's just going to make everybody assume that what he said was true.
Right. And that's the scary part. That's the scary. See, man, listen. Watch X-Files, damn it. Watch X-Files. Fox Mulder knew. He knew what he was talking about. Chris Carter had an informant. Chris Carter had an informant making that show, for crying out loud.
Some or other, maybe the Lost Crew too.
The Lost Crew? What are you talking about?
The show Lost?
I've never watched it.
I mean, neither have I, but I think there's aliens in it.
It was funny. I did watch this thing about Cloverfield yesterday, and they were trying to tie, because apparently, oh, by the way, did you know the Slusho website came back up?
Yeah. It's the viral marketing is coming back because Cloverfield's actually getting a proper sequel.
Great, that's good to know. Yeah, there was a thing in Cloverfield apparently, in one of the where they do the military things, right? Like, this footage has been, declassified or whatever. But in the corner, apparently, it was the logo from whatever the thing in Lost was, whatever their. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, that's funny. I like that they tie everything together and stuff. J.J. Abrams know what he was doing then. He doesn't know what he's doing now.
No.
But if it's a proper...
He certainly didn't know what he was doing with Star Wars.
No. But if it's a proper sequel to the original Cloverfield movie, and we get some giant Cloverfield monster shit, yeah, I'm all for it. See, that's another thing I'm worried about, though. What if somewhere underwater, like the Abyss, James Cameron knows too much?
Oh, have you not heard about, all of these giant sea monster sightings?
No. Stop. I thought they were just orcas, like the killer whales and shit, doing their damn thing.
No. Apparently things have been, shooting up out of the ocean.
Well, no, that, yeah. So that stuff, oh my God, unidentified underwater objects. No. Shit, what the hell? Submersible, USBs? USOs, unidentified submersible objects. No, that's cool. That I know about. But, you're talking creatures? Like the Kraken?
That's what I heard from a tweet, that apparently people were reporting seeing sea monsters at the same time as all this alien stuff.
Maybe it's viral marketing for Cloverfield 2 or the legendary Titan show.
Maybe. I should.
Well, then again, I don't know, because Hollywood shut down.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, the fact that we are this deep into UFOs and possible alien lives, possible aliens that are walking among us, I don't believe it's far-fetched.
Oh no, and this also brings into back into the light the Men in Black organization, because they've been suspected way before the movies were a thing.
It's true. That is true. It's funny, man. There are a couple of YouTubers I like, and I don't know if they do it on purpose, and maybe they do, and it's cool if they do, because whatever. But it's you get a lot of good fucking videos to these sites, right? You sit there and you're like, man, all right, I can't tell what that is. That is too good. Oh, that's from a Ring camera. What? That is insane. You get them, right? And then they go radio silent for 5-6 months, and you go, Yo, they've been uploading every other day. Where are they? What's going on? Then they come back and it's like, no, I had a little thing. And it could be fake. They could be playing around. But at the same time, I'm just like, is there somebody trying to shut down the rightful passage of information, if that's even a fucking thing? Do we have a right to know? We should, right?
Oh yeah, when it comes to stuff like this, the not just the American people, the human race deserves to know. Which
brings me to the Vatican. Oh. And good Lord, I would love to know what they've got locked in their little drawers. In their secret files. There's gotta be things in there. Absolutely. You're talking about one of the, if not the biggest religious group in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want nothing to get out that, what I'm saying? Like
what if the fruit of the tree of knowledge is actually alien technology?
Absolutely.
What if the Holy Grail was like this alien device that if you drank from it, it cured all your ailments?
Yep. What if Jesus ascending on Easter was actually him being beamed up, Scott?
Beamed back up via tachyon ray.
That's, again, like, because how else would you explain that? How would you explain that? But again, I'm not here to disregard religion or its beliefs, but all I'm saying is I would love to see, without the Vatican burning anything, what they got in those secret files. Because there's got to be a plethora.
Yeah,
it's got to be.
And I'm not trying to dog on religion despite being mostly an atheist either. People can believe whatever they want to believe. It's just, it's nice to have some healthy, like, theorizing every now and then as to what could explain these things.
And with Congress doing this, that opens up that door. Now, the question is, do people want to hear it or not? And I could tell you from experience, especially within this week, some people just don't want to hear it. Some people just don't want to hear it, and that's fine. But, like I told them, if this leads to something bigger and something tangible and something right in our face where it's knocking on your door, you got no choice.
There's no more plugging your ears and saying la 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 to that anymore.
Absolutely not. But you know what? And this is the sad part about it all. This is the God's honest sad part about it all. It'll be those people who there would become mass suicide. And that's scary and sad. All the jokes aside.
Yeah.
Like, you believe in something that hard and it's not like saying, well, that doesn't exist because this exists now. It's just that you're led to believe that we are it. We are it. And now we find out we're not. That's too much for a lot of people to handle. And I'm not somebody that gets bothered easy or triggered. I definitely don't get triggered easy. But that's something, whether I agree or not with someone's beliefs, that's something that's unfortunate. And I wish that none of that would happen. I just wish we can all go in with open minds. But some might say, well, an open mind leads to brainwashing. And I'm like, all right, put your tinfoil hat back on. Because come on, man. But no, that's honestly how I feel. I feel like if that busts out and this is real, there'd be a lot of people killing themselves. A lot of people going to drink the Kool-Aid. A lot of people are going to drink the Kool-Aid. And that's sad.
Take their cyanide tablets.
Yeah, and it's sad. It is fucking sad. Because it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't.
No.
It doesn't.
Not at all.
Unless, of course, they're hostile and it's like, all right, we ain't got no choice, but we can't beat them. So you know what? Let's go out on our own terms. I still wouldn't do that. I'd be like, fuck it, I'm gonna get disintegrated. I'm going out in a place. Oh, I'm dead.
I'm gonna go down. I'm going to Valhalla.
For real. Exactly. Like Signs. Give me a glass of water, please. Make that 2. Yo, could you imagine? Like, Super Soakers would have been the fucking shit in Signs, bro. Super Soakers would have been the shit in Signs. Like, the aliens that came out here that just had that shit pumped already. Shh. Carving your name in their chest with fucking regular tap water. I love it. You saw Signs, right?
Yeah, I've seen Signs. I saw it in theaters when I was like single-digit age. Probably shouldn't be watching that movie. Kind of stuff.
Yeah, that movie is so funny. I didn't see it with my wife. My wife went with my brother and my cousin and a couple of other friends. I saw it afterwards. I saw it with a different set of friends. And when the alien walks out in the party down in South America,
yeah,
it's like the best part of the movie. my legit, she was my friend. She wasn't my girl, but she was my friend who was a girl, but legit good friend. Jumped and her fucking nail literally scratched a chunk of my damn near took my nipple off. I was like, oh! I was screaming at that. Oh shit! Thank God my scream was drowned out by the rest of the theater going, oh shit. But yeah, no, that's a true story. It's funny as hell.
Wow.
But listen, I mean, I think we are good. I don't know how much more we can talk about aliens outside of it's a Hollywood.
Not until something else comes out. Like, definitely, I can see us coming back to this discussion if somebody actually shows us a body.
See, all right, real quick before we do go, because then that's another thing that I go crazy about. There used to be things on like I think it was Fox, the alien autopsy. Is it real? Like, there are some really good, compelling things that we have seen. People say we faked the moon landing, right? Okay.
That is a thing that you see, I didn't get into it. My mother is actually a huge conspiracy theorist who believes that the moon landing was fake, and the other popular ones going around like Mark Zuckerberg is a lizard man and stuff.
See, I could believe Mark Zuckerberg being some kind of reptile because, again, he snaked his way into that. He was a snake, total snake. So, I mean, he's Cobra Law from G.I. Joe the movie. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
He's totally Cobra Law. But, no, conspiracy theorists believing in UFOs is a conspiracy theory. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or cryptozoology and all that.
That's true too, which upsets me because I'm like, damn it. I mean, granted, we haven't found the body, but what if they just bury them? Like we bury ours.
Yeah.
Sasquatch. Or what if, I'm just saying hypotheticals, what if they eat their dead? You're definitely not going to find it.
Exactly.
So it's crazy when you think about that, but that's a podcast for another time, Sasquatch. But no, yeah, I am done. I hope to goodness gracious.
I think at this point, ladies and gentlemen, you guys can make your own conclusions, and just aliens are real.
So they say. So they say. I agree with you, right? But for the sake of back and forth, so they say. That'll do it for this episode 5 of the G1&Z1 show. I am G1 and he is.
Oh, yes, we are out of here.
Peace.